If you're watching this video, you're looking at the very first video that I have uploaded to my channel that, as the name suggests, will be based around sim racing games in the future. I'm coming at you with a nice little race here in the IMSA series and iRacing, Road Atlanta in the LMP2s. What a track, always good fun to race on here. But as this is my first video, I want to take the warm-up lap to talk about where I'm coming from a little bit, you know, my sim racing history and what I'm looking to do with this channel. So the earliest memory that I have of me with a racing game is when I was like 2 or 3 years old and my dad has just bought a steering wheel for the PS1 where he was playing a lot of Gran Turismo, and it all started from there. I went through the Gran Turismo ranks with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the consoles until I eventually switched to PC, where I played a lot of Project Cars, Assetto Corsa, and dipped my toes into iRacing. I never really got into iRacing because when I first signed up for it in 2014, I was still racing on an old Logitech strapped to my desk with a rolling office chair, which wasn't the best kind of solution. So it was always kind of in the background. Now I've moved, I've built myself a proper racing rig with proper pedals and a nice wheel, so I decided to finally get into iRacing, and this is actually the first season that I'm participating completely, and I've fully shifted my focus on the VRS GT Sprint series as well as the IMSA series, in which I mainly drive the LMP2, but also do some GTE races sometime, you know, when I have the time to practice. I want to try and upload all kinds of racing videos in the future, from iRacing races to hot laps to challenges, you know, whatever I feel like doing, as we are looking at the start of the race right here. Starting in 10th, as I messed up in qualifying a little bit. Kind of frustrating because I consider Road Atlanta to be one of my better tracks, but it is what it is. Taking it real cautious here in the beginning. I only have 1700 iRating right now, so I know that in these lobbies in the LMP2 races, there's actually quite a few decently fast drivers, but almost none of them can make full 45-minute race without crashing. So just taking it easy here, driving behind a little bit, waiting for them to make mistakes, and there is the first one. We'll take this freebie. So yeah, kind of an old race right now. It's been 3 or 4 weeks since we've had Road Atlanta, but I decided to get into it right now a little bit, as we're looking to gain another position right here. But this guy, yeah, he concedes the position. Put me in kind of a bad spot now for the next one. Maxim behind me is looking to take advantage of it. I didn't actually expect him to go for it here, but he was kind of aggressive, I guess. He wanted to get through the field. And you'll see me making a small mistake here, going way wide, because I was very inexperienced in this track, driving in traffic, driving different lanes, and you see me losing 2 more positions here. So I didn't exactly know how far outside I had to stay in that corner to give him enough space. Was a little bit too much in the end, but you know, it is what it is. So we'll just continue here. Still very cautious, waiting for people to make mistakes. So yeah, I've had a couple great races at iRacing already, as I was gaining a little bit of iRating. I've noticed that in these LMP2s, they are, for me personally, they are so much fun to drive. I love high downforce cars. They're also tricky to drive, which is why in these lobbies, this is like the 3rd bottom split out of 6 or 7 splits every week. that, as I said, there are decently fast drivers, but they struggle with the consistency. They're making mistakes left and right. I rarely see anyone finishing a 45-minute race without crashing. As we see another guy making a mistake here, we're trying to get that position. He fought it a little bit, but we managed to make it through in the end. Which meant that we almost lost slipstream to Klaas in front, which we're trying to get back right now. Chaotic first laps, and the guy behind me just lost it in that sharp turn, tricky corner actually. It's one of those corners that people on this iRating, and I don't want to put them all in the same basket obviously, but they're struggling to keep it consistent on their braking, especially in hard corners. I've noticed that a lot recently, as these guys in front of me battle for positions, so we are right behind them right now. I was thinking of going for a move right here, but decided to, you know, I don't want to risk anything. It's still early in the race. They were already side by side. There's no need to force a crash here, so I decided to stay behind. Take it easy in the first couple laps, like I've mentioned before. Road Atlanta is a difficult track to overtake, tricky track to overtake actually. You've got the long back straight obviously, which is almost your only overtaking opportunity. People make mistakes through the S's, though it's really hard to profit from it. You'll see in this video quite a few mistakes for people that ended in crashes because people try to force an overtake. I'm not a fan of it, but yeah, I mean, sometimes you just gotta try, you know. As I thought I was getting another position here, but Maxime actually decided to come back for me, which again, I did not expect him to be that aggressive. I probably should have known after the first couple laps here, but yeah, couldn't defend myself from him. We lost a lot of time to the guys in front, but ultimately decided to stay behind him a little bit here. Nearly crashed myself here, under braking, locked up a little bit, lost some time to Maxime, which we are gonna have to make up now again. As we skip forward a little bit here, 2 laps, we were kind of, you know, struggling behind. Not struggling, but we didn't make up as much time as I was hoping we would. But right here, we did it, and then big mistake from Maxime. He takes out himself and another guy. We will look at the replay right here to what happened. And the guy in front of him braked way too early, I gotta say. I mean, in the end it's still Maxime's fault in my opinion. If you're the guy behind, you need to watch out for these kind of things.
Thank you, Damien.
But the guy in front of him broke very early, so it was hard to avoid that. We will take the 2 free positions, and now we are 2.5 seconds behind the guy in front, which will make another mistake here. There's a tricky corner, that. 2.5 seconds behind, trying to catch up, but luckily we are running into GTE traffic by this point, so I caught up very quickly to Ronnie and Jorge in front. So right here, kind of the worst possible overtaking spot on the whole track. Forced Ronnie to stay behind, so I was right on his tail. I was kind of hoping I could go for a move here, but he was able to use the slipstream of the lapped GTE cars in front to keep me at bay. And it's getting very close here, under braking. I did not want to go for a move here at all. I just decided to stay on the left to make sure that I don't crash into him. Kind of suffered on the exit a little bit because of it, but that's alright. We're still on the traffic, so I know I can catch up quickly again as we take this Ferrari as well. And Ronnie was a little bit slow through here, and this is what I was just talking about. I probably could have forced the move to the left or right here, but this is the trickiest part. As you can see, 2 more LMP2s going off here. We're gonna look at the replay again, but let's see first Ronnie making a mistake here, giving me another position. So that's 3 positions in 2 laps as we look at the replay of what happened between these 2 guys. Guy in front got a bad exit out of the difficult corner, and guy behind tried to force a move. And this is exactly what I was trying to say before we checked that replay. Going through these S's is the trickiest part in the whole circuit, especially if you're side by side. And in these kind of lobbies, in the low iRating lobbies, I do not trust the people to be able to hold on in a situation like this. So I don't go for these moves, because as you can see, it can go wrong so quickly. I'd rather lose 1 or 2 seconds behind the guy instead of losing my whole race because I tried to force a move, right? So that got us right into 5th position right now. 2.5 seconds behind the guys in front, which we are trying to close down now. So skip forward a lap, running into lapped traffic again, which I'm pretty sure forces Damien in front of me to fall back a little bit and be very slow, as we see another guy go off here, and the BMW unsafe rejoin nearly taking me out. Another example. I can't blame the LMP2 guy here for trying to go for the move, because you're gonna be stuck behind the GTE for the whole downhill section here. But it's just difficult, you know, if it goes wrong you lose the whole race. So we were catching up with Damien here, running into more GTE traffic,
on your left,
as we are about to get another freebie under braking here. And this is one of the stupidest maneuvers I've seen in this whole race. You can see me trying to use the slipstream here, pretty close overtake, but I had to go for that one. As you can see, the LMP2 guy off here, and you can hear Kenneth complaining here, and I can't blame him. I mean, you cannot go for that move. That is a dive bomb and a half. I mean, I don't know what to say. In this situation, Kenneth says it again here, don't dive bomb. I mean, it was way too far out. Just concede the corner, let the GTE go. You maybe lose half a second in this situation, but instead you just lost several positions, maybe even got damaged for the rest of the race. It's just stupid. As we skip ahead a lap here, as I was really struggling to catch up with Damien, he was pretty fast. But right here we are running into GT traffic again at the worst possible moment, the worst possible section of the track, which cost Damien a lot of time and caused me to be right on his tail. And he had no slipstream in front, I was right on him. So this should be an easy overtake down the straight. There's a lot of downforce in this LMP2, obviously. There's a lot of slipstream, really powerful slipstream. So we are in it right now, trying to hold it for as long as possible. It's gonna be a close one. Passed him here, and I nearly lock up under braking. I did for a small moment right there, but I was able to save it. That was a scary situation when it happened during the race. So now, I knew that I was faster than Damien, so I wanted to get away from him as fast as possible. At this point, I was just trying to get away from him and then chill for the rest of the race, because at this point the leader was already 16 seconds ahead. He had a pretty clean race, he had no traffic, he had no issues. All the guys behind him pretty much crashed or took themselves out. So it was a lonely race for him up front. As we run into GTE traffic here again at the worst possible corners in the whole track. I nearly had Damien out of my slipstream already, and this allowed him to catch right back up but this time I was able to use the slipstream of the lapped GTE cars so that he could not go for a move right here.
Steady on the old slow down there, mate.
And after that, we had one more overtake to go. Jordan in front of me, the class leader of the GTEs. As you can see, me making a small mistake here, which allowed Damien to come right back up my rear wing. And this was a scary moment for me here as well. I did not want to affect Jordan's race in a negative way, but I also wanted to get past him before this section because I didn't want Damien to be right on my tail for another round of the back straight. And we skip forward here again. You can see the gap, 4.5 seconds to the back. Right now we skipped a lot of laps here, and what you're looking at right now is actually my fastest lap of the race. A 1:10.4, which is not my fastest overall lap I did in a race here, but it's still a pretty fast one, especially for these kind of splits with this kind of strength of field. Took that corner a little bit cautiously, and you'll see we're also gonna profit from a little bit of slipstream from the GTE in front. This is a tricky corner right here, especially in the exit. Very easy to brake way too late and cause a spin like we've seen in the first lap. Very hard to get a good exit in the first gear in these LMP2 cars. It's a very slidey car, as we managed to take a lot of speed through these corners, more than I ever did before, as you can see from the lap delta. That was a pretty decent lap. I was not taking any risks at this point, as we're gonna skip ahead, because as you can see I had a 6-second gap to the guy behind, and the leader was over 15 seconds ahead of me.
Man, come on.
As you can hear
Dive bomb
Kenneth
first corner.
and the leader complain. I was having a chill race, knowing that the only way I could make up any more positions was if the leader crashed. I had no danger from the guy behind. And you can see Oliver French complaining here, and Oliver French was the leader of this race, and you will be able to see him here on the left as we come down this hill. He got taken out by a lapped GTE car. We're gonna take a look at the replay here, and you can decide for yourself. I was chatting to Oliver after the race, and he said that he was under the impression that the GTE car went to the left to give him room and then turned into him. And he was kinda right, but my take on it is,
You just slowed us both down.
you are the leader and you're 16 seconds ahead with only a couple laps to go. There was maybe 3 or 4 laps to go. You don't force a move like that into turn 1. You take it easy. It doesn't matter if you lose 2 or 3 seconds for an overtake. I mean, all he had to do was chill up front and he could have easily won it, but instead he gifted me the lead here. I had, I think, a 12 or 13 second gap to the guy behind. So you'll see me here, white flag, taking it super easy, because as I was just saying with Oliver, all he had to do was take it easy, not take any risks, and he could have easily won it. That's exactly what I'm doing here. I don't have to go for a fastest lap anymore. I was happy with the one I had. I had a massive gap behind, so there was no need for me to take any risks anymore. So I finished this race in first. Totally unexpected to me. But man, I do love these LMP2s, especially in a track like Road Atlanta. Absolute blast. So anyways, I would really appreciate if you could like and subscribe, try and help my channel grow a little bit. If you have any kind of feedback, please leave a comment down below. tell me what I could improve in the future, if you want to see more replays, if you want to see more of the actual racing. And yeah, trying to improve my content. And yeah, see you in the next video, I guess.